Welcome back, guys. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a posting from the database into a list view to see all our users inside the database. So this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to be able to log in, and from our login we'll be able to view the users in the database. Alright, so I don't want to delete this photo, so I'll just delete the files that I made, or text that I put here. Alright, so you should be able to okay, just create. We've made, in our last tutorial we made the home activity, right? So basically from starting there, if you're starting from there, it would look like this. It's just empty with the onCreate method, right? So in this tutorial, what we're going to do is we want to go to the database first, and I'm going to have to, should I just remove this? Okay, I'll just type it up here. So you want to create a public cursor. So create a public cursor, and you want to call this database view users, like this. And we want to use the SQLite database to, let me just say database for once. Database equals this dot get writable database, and then we want to create a list. So go ahead and say string create your list. The list, we can call it, what should we call this list? We'll call this list user, or I like writing things in capital, user details, right? This can equal new. We can do the string again, and here we can say our column ID. If you were following the last tutorial, go column ID, column name, and then column pass. Oh my god, column pass, like that, and then close. After that we get our cursor, say cursor, and this cursor is going to equal database dot query. Can we use raw query? We can use raw query, but it's better to just use query, and here we put our table name. It's asking us for the columns, so we're only going to put one column here, which is our user details. We have no selection. We have no selection arguments. We are not grouping by. We have no having. And we are not ordering the data. So everything can be null. Then we're going to put a condition statement here to say if our cursor is not empty. I wonder if you can write it like this. You can't. Okay, so we're going to write if our cursor is not empty, then our cursor should move to the next. Else well, there's nothing else that is happening, so else I don't know. You can put an error message here if you want. Just put optional. And then because this is a static method, we'll have to return something, so we just return our cursor, just like that. So once we have written our view method, we can just say database post, because it is a post method. We go to our home activity from our last tutorial, and here we are going to have to call upon our database helper and create a database helper object. Put this as our context. Next thing we want to do is get our text fields in there. So that's our text views. We get our text views in there, and I've edited the field. So what I did here is I added I've added a list view. So I created this relative layout, and then inside this relative layout I put another linear layout where we have this text here called list of user accounts, and that is this linear layout here. And then I created another linear layout with the list view inside it. So basically this is actually, I can remake this, but I'll leave the source code in the description for you guys who want to create layouts. So the best thing here to take note of is that the list view must have an ID because we're going to use it later. So this list view should have an ID. The rest is not really useful, but the main thing is this is just for stylizing. You could literally just throw a list view in here and just give it an ID, which is the most important thing here. So with that in mind, you go and create an adapter. The adapter is basically just I just customized this one so that it would look um, more it, it would look more presentable basically. So here the most important things to note is that you need a text view and the text view ID, because this is going to be the view that we're going to iterate inside the list view. So basically I could remake this, but if you guys want me to see that, I can put that in a different video. This is just to show you, mostly not on the layouts, but mostly just for the creation of how to do a post from the database and iterating it into a list view. So basically you can pause the video to follow up how I've typed the code. So I'll just go slowly so you can see it. Right? So you go to layout, and then you create a new file, and then you would call it adapter, and that is this view here. And this one is the view that came with when we made this home activity. You guys remember that? So the only thing you're doing now here is just adding this method here for the database post in your database helper file. Then the next thing you're doing is creating a new layout. If you've been following the other video tutorials, you just create a new layout and you create a relative layout, and then you start to build this file to look like this. Okay, once you've done that, you've basically set up your layouts, you have your method, and now you call for your database, create an object of the database. Then here we're going to reference our, what are we going to reference here? We're referencing the fields. So we have 4 edit text, so we can just say text title 1, text text title 2, view username and view password, just like that. That's all we have in the views, and then we need to build a list. So we're going to say, let me just check the reference, or I can just copy it to make it faster. I can just copy this. So you're going to define this list array here. So you're just going to say final this array from, which equals to this new list array, and then here you are just referencing all the columns in the database table that you have. So here I have the ID, I have the column name, I have the password. If you look here in the adapter, you would see that the ID is here as well, and we put the visibility to gone so that we don't see the ID up here. But if we had to remove this visibility here, sorry, it would show here, but for now we just hide it. That's also something to note. Once we have our strings, we go ahead and define them here. So we say text title 1 equals find view by id r.id dot, remember this is the title text, so we can just say text depending on what you've named it. So this is the title text for the username. So go ahead and hold Control D and tap it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That's Control D. You just increment, makes it easier. Ooh. Alright. And you put 2 here. Isn't that title text 2? It's title text 2. Oh, this one says get. So text like this should be fine. It's fine. And we can say db, get the other text here. This one is the view username, and this one is the view password. So go ahead, come here. Excuse me. Now these are the ones without the text, so we can remove the text here. We can remove the text here, and this one is password, like that. Just create a separation. Alright, once we've done that, we now need to reference our list view. So I should actually reference that here. So it's list view, that. Now I can say list view dot, oh, sorry, list view find view by id r.id dot, let's type list. I called mine user list. If we go to the home activity and we look at this list view, there's the name that I used, call it user list, but I can change the name. I can say user list view, so that when I go here and I type list view, you can see it there, and that's fine. So the next thing we want to do after defining Olaf is looking here. Next thing we want to do is import the cursor, and after we import the cursor, we import the simple cursor adapter. So we get our cursor, we say cursor Then we say cursor equals database helper dot database post. Then we say simple cursor adapter equals simple cursor adapter. Oops, it's supposed to be new simple cursor adapter. We reference the context. We say this, the layout, so r dot layout dot our adapter. We reference our cursor, which is cursor we reference our string from, so our string from here, which is from, comma, and then our string to, which is to, and then finally our flags, which will just be 0. After which we say simple cursor adapter dot set do. That's not what we do. We say list view dot set adapter, and then we add the adapter, and like this we should be done. So we can go ahead and load. If you guys want me to do another tutorial on this, I can and I will. Because I felt like this tutorial was a bit unfair for you guys because I didn't really explain in depth or go through the layouts and how to make them. But if you want me to, I will do that for you guys. So you can just log in, and as you can see, just with this simple code we are able to create a list view where we can see our users' passwords, and oh wow, that was new. Okay, let's register somebody. Blah 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 and blah blah blah, and we register. So I'm using a trial version. This application, we have this person registered. Okay, I'm just going to use the default one. Oh no, it's capital A. We log in. And there we can see the rubbish we just typed in. So this view is working and it is taking from the database. Thank you for watching. If you guys need a recap or a more in-depth video, please write in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one.